Welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Peter Martin and I'm delighted to say my guest this week is Scottish singing sensation Nicholas McDonald. Nicholas, it's been a long time. We've been in each other's company so many times. If it's not driving along a motorway, it's in some seedy nightclub. But I'm delighted you're here. It just seems like yesterday you were in X Factor and we were spending an absolute bloody fortune voting for you.
I know. Still paying your phone bill off. I know what was.
It was a great time for you, wasn't it?
It was. It's actually been 10 years this year since I done the show, but yeah, it makes you feel quite old, eh? That was back in your younger days as well.
Exactly. I think I could still play in the middle of the park there.
It's been a whirlwind, and as you said, it's just felt like it was yesterday. It was mad.
Yeah. How did you handle that almost like a switch on of another? It's instant. It's, the heat's there. Everybody's focusing on you. As a young boy, how did you handle it?
Do you know what? A lot of people said when I was younger that I was that laid back, I was horizontal. Do you know what I mean? And I think because I was only 16 on the show, I didn't think about it as in... Like, I seen the switch, like, overnight, I seen that switch, but I never really felt it, because I was like, this is great. I'm on the X Factor. I used to sit with Chinese on a Saturday night and watch it. Now I'm actually on it. This is great. And by the way, I don't even need to go to school or sit exams. It's even better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that was like the peak time. I was in fifth or sixth year at high school, and exams was really important then. My mum and dad says, if you don't do well now, you won't do well in your career. So X Factor kind of came along at a great time. It just kind of changed my life forever.
Yeah. Who influenced you to go for it?
It's definitely my mum and dad. Growing up, I didn't really sing. I sung like karaoke, and then when I turned about 13, my mum put me into voice lessons and stuff like that. But at the time, singing wasn't cool. Do you know what I mean? I was getting called choir boy and all that at school and whatever, and getting absolute pelters, which is fine. Do you know what I mean? I understand that. But I get to call it my job now, which is great, and I'm known a building site on my hands and knees in a garage under a car somewhere.
Yeah. And was there that sense of, oh, wait a minute, everybody wants a piece of me? Yes,
there was. And even coming off the show as well, a lot of people seen that I was young and naive. None of my parents had any experience in the music industry before, and people just seen young 16-year-old, let's take the mickey right out of him. And people did do that, but now it's been 10 years, I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more street aware. I sense a good person when I meet them. I'm not quick to judge people, but I just feel like people at that time were out to just be like, make a quick buck off me, which is kind of sad, but I still hear it to this day, kind of thing. You need to watch out for it,
Yeah, I've watched you kind of grow as a person as well, and obviously see you as a performer, which I want to discuss. But let's take you back then. Suddenly, you go to the audition. Your mum and dad have said, "Come on, you can go for it."
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? How does it happen? Where are you? What's going down?
So to paint the picture, long story short, I was bored one day, and it was January. It was probably raining outside. I came back from school. It was still dark. I get up in the morning to go to school. It's dark. Come back from school and it's still dark. It was just dark in January. And I says, I'm going to sign up for X Factor. But I remember that The Voice just happened, just came onto the scene. So I actually signed up for The Voice and X Factor on the same night.
Right.
And The Voice get back to me first. So I was about to go for a Voice audition. Never heard back from X Factor. And 2 weeks before the Voice audition, X Factor emailed me saying you can come for an audition. I thought, I'm going to go for X Factor. It's a bigger show. I've always watched it. The Voice was just new at the time. So we went to the Armadillo in Glasgow. We stood outside STV with the foam fingers and doing all this and all that patter. It was raining again. Dermot O'Leary's here. Welcome to Glasgow. We're all at, whoa, standing out in the rain. Great time. Stood there for about 3 hours doing about 40 takes. Welcome to X Factor and all the big foam fingers. And I went and done an audition. There was about 10,000 people there.
Yeah.
Auditioning.
What did you sing?
You Raise Me Up, because at that time it was like you were singing in front of it was like me and you, it was a wee room, it was like a porta potty, that's the only way I can explain it. It was tiny,
right? And
you just sung in front of them, so that wasn't even filmed at the time.
Yeah. Was it the judges though?
No, it was producers of the show and runners of the show.
Right.
So then they said yes to you there or then they'd put you through another audition, which would be in like a room like this. There'd be people and they would be filming, but it wasn't judges. But I found out later in the show it was producers of the show.
Right.
And they tell you yes or no, then you put through another audition. By the way, this is all in the one day.
Yeah.
all in. They've got the hotel that's attached to the venue as well, so it was all in the rooms and conference rooms in there.
Yeah, all with the same song.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So then went for another audition on the same day, producers, and then they says, right, okay, we'll contact you in the next 6 to 10 weeks to let you know if you're through or not. I went home, 8 weeks passed, never heard anything, 10 weeks passed, never heard anything, got a phone call, you've got an audition in front of judges. Then, that was months later, then I had to wear the same outfit that I wore doing the X Factor and all that, months later, and it was like, a white, you could tell I get dressed in the dark, and my mum dressed me. I had a waistcoat, a pink tie and a white shirt. I looked like I was serving at a restaurant. And then I got put in front of the judges, and that was at the Hilton Hotel in the West End. And I got to meet the judges there. But
who are the judges?
The way they make it out to be is if you just rock up and you just sing in front of the judges that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean there's wee auditions that nobody knows? They're like, aye, you need to get through auditions to actually get to the main audition.
Right.
The judges were Sharon Osbourne, Louis Walsh, Gary Barlow and Nicole Scherzinger.
That's not a bad four.
Nicole's no bad to look at.
Oh, she looks sensational, by the way.
By the way, she's actually better looking in real life than she is on the TV. Don't know how it's possible, but it is.
Yeah, and just digressing just for a minute, because you've caught me on the hop there. In true Lanarkshire fashion, just because of my mates and we used to go out, did you think to yourself, like we probably did, you know, I'm going to put a tackle in here because even if I get a knockback, I can tell my mates I asked Nicole Scherzinger.
Aye, do you know what I mean? I fired my shot, do you know what I mean? And I even put on the waterworks, be like, oh, I'm so nervous to be here today. You're right, Nicole Hen. And then that's when she called me Nicky Blue Eyes, and then that was it.
Oh.
Game as a bogey. I'm like, boys, my work here's done.
And did you sing You Raise Me Up to them?
Yes, I did. And then they obviously put me through, and then every audition you change your song.
Because there is a one moment then where, and I don't know what stage it's at then as you change your songs, but there's a song on YouTube that if anybody puts in Nicholas McDonald and you sing the song from Twilight.
1,000 Years? Yeah.
I think, is it Christina Perry?
Yes, it is.
I mean, if you're the toughest guy, and I know a few hardy boys,
Aye,
right?
not cases.
if you're a tough guy, you're looking at that, you see your mum and dad, and is that your wee sister?
Aye.
I mean, it's just a howl. You just got to greet.
There's a backstory because obviously I get told I was doing that arena audition, and there were 16 years for Wishy jumped in a minibus down to London. Took us about 6 weeks to get there, and they're all drinking and partying the way down. I was like, by the way, it's all good on the way down. I says, but this bus journey back home, if I don't get through, is going to be a nightmare.
It's going to be like a wake, isn't it?
Aye. So by the time we got there, we done the audition and stuff. I went on and sang. It was just like emotion just caught me. Even my brother to this day, he looks completely different, and he's big shredded. He's training to do like a bodybuilding show kind of thing.
I saw your brother greeting on that.
Well, that you see him now, even at this stage, that song just gets me every time. I go, what can I say? And Nicole, I think Nicole's actually crying that audition as well. I was like, I'm in here.
She put her hand on her heart, and I thought to myself, Nicky, you've just got to ask her out.
I know.
It's as simple
I know. And at the time, I think she was going through a rough time with Lewis Hamilton, so I'm just trying to slide my way in there. I've not got the dough he's got, but I've got all right patter.
See, when you were singing in front of them, I mean, what was it like? Was that your heart racing, or did you manage to get? I noticed at one point and that wasn't even planned. It was just like instinct kicked in. It's like you need to set yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because I never, until that point, I never sung in an arena. Yeah. I
never sung in front of 10,000 people. So now I'm here, and I'm just like, don't make a
back end of it.
Yes. Yeah. Because it could be good or it could be a disaster.
There is always a moment in a song where suddenly, in their clever editing...
Oh, they chopped up half of the song, but it looked brilliant on TV.
Well, I was going to say to you, but there is a moment when somebody sings, you know, when you get to line 3 in verse 1...
And it's a key change.
And they're all cheering.
Aye.
And then, you know, you've got them... did you know that? Was there a point where they're all going tonto and you're thinking, I've got them here?
No, it wasn't until after it, because honestly, the song was just like a complete blur. And I only, like, learned the song like 2 weeks before it. I never heard it. To this day, I've never watched Twilight, actually. But I know for a fact I made Christina Perry a lot of money that I didn't see a bean. I'm going to invoice her, actually, after this.
It would have been great if you'd written it, because that's where the money is.
Aye.
And at that point then, you've got 4 judges.
Yeah.
Every one of them, it's like the jury, isn't it? It's just that whole passing your future, with 1 word or 2 words. At what point were you looking and saying, right, you know how sometimes, especially with Simon Cowell, people think, well, Judge 1 said that, he's been really nice.
Aye.
She said something really nice, but I'm just waiting till Darth Vader
takes you right out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So was there a point where you thought, I've got them, I know it's going well?
No, because at that my first audition, Gary Barlow actually said no. And they edited it out, but he basically said to me, you should go to school and come back in a year's time and you'll be maturer in your voice and all that. And I'm like, I never said this, but I said in my head, if I wanted to be here in like a year's time, I'd have been. I feel like I'm ready to do it now.
Yeah.
Looking back now, compared to now, my voice is matured and I don't want to sound big-headed, but I got a lot better because I've thingied my craft, do you know what I mean? I've worked out my craft, whereas when I done the show, I was only singing for 2 years, do you know what I mean? But at first audition, Gary Barlow actually said no, and then the 1,000 Years audition, he's like, you knocked it out the park, do you know what I mean? So I was scared for his opinion, because I was like, he could say no here again, do you know what I mean? And they don't give anything away, like, judges like him, they've got a hard shell, you don't know if they like it or they don't like it, so you'd be sitting like that, and then they go, baby, that was fantastic, and you're like, wow. And as you said, a couple of words can really change people's opinion, because these people are the experts, do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I can understand why he would say, listen, come back next year, because he wants you to, as I mentioned to many staff that I've worked for, myself, is try and get as many skills as possible, try and get as many qualifications so that you can fall back on something. Yeah. So he's probably thinking to himself, do your school, get your qualifications, and then you could be a singer as well if you're that good. You're thinking, no, we can take a flying.
No, I'm on that train full steam ahead. I'm like, even to this day, I don't even have a CV. I couldn't write one up.
Yeah.
And because when I was on the show at the time, because the first audition was in the January, and then the final audition, well, the final X Factor final when I reached it was in the December, so it was a whole year, and it's all, you need to be quiet because everything's pre-recorded, and then when you get to live shows, it's live. So I was in and out of school, so I missed all my exams, so I really don't really have any qualifications as such.
Yeah.
So if it's a singing career doesn't work out, I don't know, I'll need to go back to a milk run or a paper run or something.
Well, I was going to say, what was it like going back to school?
It was mental, because when I finished the X Factor final, I never got to go back to school because we were on the Christmas break, and my guidance teacher, I remember, early January 2014 came to my house, and I answered the door, like, my guidance teacher, what are you doing at my house? And she came in, had a tea and coffee and whatever, and she handed me a leavers form, and I just signed it to leave school, so I never went back to school.
Is that right?
Aye, I wasn't planning going back, I was like, this is good.
But of the times that you went back, what was it like with your mates and things like that? Was there a change, or was it just they were so happy for you?
They were happy, but when the first edition gets shown, then people knew, well, obviously from the school, all right, he's on the X Factor. But then the media and people outside the school started to click on and know that all these audition ones, like in London and all that, Wembley Arena, they're all pre-recorded.
Yes.
So then you start getting harassed at school, and Manty's getting phoned up, works with the council, I hear your nephew's on the X Factor, can you tell us what stages it and all that? So then it starts to get a bit weird, and I'm just like...
Yeah, they're trying to be sneaky.
There was people like, outside my house and all that, being like, when's your next audition and all that? And then the X Factor tell you, look, this is what's going to happen. You can't tell a soul.
Yeah.
Now I've got him with like a budgie, I'm like, like that. What do you mean I can't tell anybody? They're like, so you're sworn to secrecy, because if you tell anybody and it gets out that you're through, they'll just punt you off the show. They don't care like that, because you've ruined the show for people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was very hard to keep my mouth shut.
So at that point, you're suddenly in a situation, once you do all the auditions, is there then the point where it's like the Scottish Cup, suddenly you're into the real meat and bones of it? Is that when you're going to the big arenas? Is that when...
So when we end up doing the arenas, and then you go to the judges' houses.
Yeah.
So it went for 85,000 boys, just boys. So you had groups, girls, boys, and overs. So I think it's over 35. So that's the 4 groups. 85,000 boys just auditioned that year, just boys.
And you're through?
So I got to the judges' houses and I was through to the final 6.
Wow.
And then for the judges' houses, for there, then they cut it down to 3, then 3 goes to the live shows. So out of 85,000, I maybe came second in the overall show, but I came first in 85,000 out of all the boys. So that's good.
It is good. Although, interestingly enough, you mentioned that in a kind of a throwaway line, but it was only you and Sam Bailey who were always winning every week.
It wasn't. I never knew that at the time. Do you know what I mean? Because I was just like taking it week by week because I could see how ruthless these shows have been. They'll build you all the way up there and they'll go straight out the sky. Do you know what I mean? You could be in there one week and back to your normal life the next week. Doesn't mean it changes your life forever. I was just taking it week by week. It wasn't until I came off the show and I was seeing the stats, it was just me and Sam, and I was like, it felt good. Do you know what I mean? That people were seeing my talent and stuff. Do you know what I mean? My personality. No, and I think if I could change things now, I wish I was as confident in myself and had more belief in myself as I do now as I had when I was younger, when I was 16. Because I was just started singing. I was on a big TV show. I was scared. I had a Scottish accent on these English shows, and people go on and I loved singing that song, and they try and talk dead proper. Whereas I would go on now just the way I am, take it or leave it. Do you know what I mean, sort of thing.
But I think your naivety and that kind of vulnerability helps, doesn't it?
It did. Weirdly, it did. But same again, going back to it, at the time, I never played on that. I never knew that. I was just like, I was genuinely scared, but I was enjoying myself at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think people could see that. That's just a normal wee 16-year-old guy, just like singing now he's here.
So when you're then into that, this is the cup, this is the nitty gritty, this is a cup match. You've got Dermot O'Leary, you've got Caroline Flack, Louis Walsh, Nicole Scherzinger, Gary Barlow, Sharon Osborne. Is there anybody else in that team that I've missed? Was Simon Cowell anywhere to be seen?
At the time, no. That was the only year he'd ever done it, because I'm sure his girlfriend or his wife at the time was pregnant.
Right.
And then after she had the baby, that's when he switched to for bad cop to good cop.
Yes.
He's now Mr. Softy on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Close up camera.
No, his face didn't even move. It's just. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that much work. We got to meet him after it. By the way. He gives Sharon Osborne a run for her money.
Yeah.
She looks great from 95.
You got at the point before I thought she just went down that. I thought she looked okay,
She's absolutely brand new. No, we got to meet him after it, and it was just really quiet. Just normally, wasn't he like this character you see?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This evil character. He's scaring.
Of the judges that you did have to work with, what were they like? Because eventually you're in Louis' camp.
Yes, so when you go to the live shows, the judges actually start to become like family. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's really nice. Sharon Osborne, brand new. I could just trap her dressing room door and just walk in and just sit there, and she always had her wee Pomeranian dogs just running about doing their business, not mental. What you see, did you ever watch the Osbournes on MTV years ago? Catching up with the Osbournes or whatever it was. That's what it was like, but in real life it was mental. So I fitted in like a glove, because my house, my mum's house, used to be like a revolving door when I was younger. It was always mental. So she was brand new, gave me a phone number and all that. Any questions, any problems, give me a call. Louis was as mad as a box of frogs, typical Irish, mental. Said it how it was, as straight as a die, which was great, but sometimes your feelings are struck in there and you'd be like, oop, right, okay, I'll take that on board. Nicole Scherzinger, I mean, you could just stare at her all day and you're drooling. You're flirting to her like that.
Even if Nicole didn't say anything, you're
just staring at her eye.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit weird at some points, you know what I mean? You're just eating your dinner and it's not even getting in your mouth, you're just wearing it.
She's not the type of girl that would go to Hamilton Palace, so you get that feeling that...
By the way, I think she would.
Yeah?
You'd maybe catch her in the mega bar with her hood up and glasses on, because there was one night we were because all the finalists that were on the live show all stayed in this big massive house down in London somewhere. Apparently it was Lionel Richie's house when he used to live in the UK, so the swimming pool and all that.
Yeah.
And one night she came in with just a pair of tracksuit bottoms, a hoodie on and her laptop, pulled up and sat and had a night. There was no cameras, we weren't mic'd up, and just sat and played like songs that she's never released before, told us stories, and just sat and had a normal conversation. And I was like, wow.
What was that like?
I could see you up the mega bar in the commercial, getting it loudy.
But down to earth?
Brand new, salt to the earth.
Yeah. And Gary Barlow?
He's an interesting one. He was the. I need to keep it PG. He wasn't my best pal. I don't know why. He just never liked me for some reason, which I always found weird, because when he did Take That, he had to go through the same process as me. We were kind of the same age,
Yep.
15, 16, 17. We go through these auditions, we're getting thrown into this limelight, this craziness. And he kind of knew what I was going through, but always gave me a hard time. And even backstage, he wouldn't even look the road you were on. And I was just like, what's going on here? And even he had the groups at the time, and even his groups said, like, he wasn't as hands-on as what they would like.
Wow.
Which was interesting. So I was a bit like, as what it is. But everybody else was brand new.
Yeah. Did you, I mean, we mentioned Dermot O'Leary, who seems like a right good down-to-earth guy. Caroline Flack, did you shed a tear? Did you actually look at that whole thing and think, somebody that you've known who's been sitting interviewing with you and such a sad end to her life, is that something that...
For sure. It was, when I read it, I just couldn't believe it. You know, I was just like, wow. And she was really, really, really nice. One of these ones, like, off camera, she would talk to you, she would give you stick, she would have banter with you, do you know what I mean, off camera. And she was a beautiful girl, you know, inside and out. And because of the Extra Factor, they would walk into the house that we were staying at and just film you waking up, right, 6 takes of you brushing your teeth, and they would really get up close, and so you start to bond a connection with them, do you know what I mean? And then obviously when she passed, I was very shocked and very sad, you know, because she was such a lovely person.
Here's a question for you to give people a sense of where you're catapulted to. Where were you when you're flying out to these? Where was the destination? You're going to the camp?
So when we went to judges' houses, so I knew Louis was my judge. So usually Louis takes his contestants to Dublin. So here I've packed my suitcases with jackets, jeans and all that, think I'm going to Dublin. They fly me from Glasgow to Heathrow. I get to Heathrow and they've got the 6 other boy contestants or 5 other boy contestants are there, X Factors are filming. They give us a golden envelope. Open it up, I'm like, boys, we've got to Dublin. I said, I don't know why you've packed shorts here. Egypt. Open it up. Where are we going? Saint-Tropez in France. Don't know where it is, but it sounds nice to me. I've got jackets and jumpers packed for the Scottish winter. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I thought he was taking us to Dublin. So went to Saint-Tropez in France, and I ended up finding out they rented a nice Airbnb. They made out it was Louis Walsh's house, which wasn't. He does us staying in a Premier Inn 5 minutes down the road, making out we're staying in this big mansion, and we weren't. Do you know what I mean? But so we're in Saint-Tropez for a week, and that was mental. It was crazy.
Did you sense then when you're getting down to that, the 85,000 has now been patched, you're now down to 6, are you looking and saying, right, okay, the battle's on, who was your danger person, you know? Did you get to see the other groups as well, the other sections?
Yes. So they basically had us up in a balcony,
right,
and the judges sat in like a chair like that,
right,
and there was... Nicole Appleton was one of the Louis' helper judges.
Yes.
You had Louis, you had, is it Nikita? What's her name? She was like Simon Cowell's wing woman. Sunita.
Yes.
Yeah. And Shane Filan from Westlife.
Right.
So they're all sat in a chair, and we're up my balcony, and we can't hear them fully, but we can hear and see them singing for the judges, which was terrifying.
Right.
And we actually sung 3 separate songs, but then the producers pick what song they want to show.
Right.
But I got to that point in the show at the judges' houses, the final 6. I said to myself, there was that much stress and pressure at that time. I said, if I don't get through here, I'll probably never do this again. It got to the point I was like, this is like having to keep everything hush hush.
Yep.
People turned up to my house, my school, and it was just crazy. It was a whirlwind, and I thought, we haven't even reached the live shows. What's it like when you get to live shows?
Yeah. Were you phoning your mum and dad and saying, look, this is the song I'm singing, here's the competition, I don't know, mum.
Yeah.
You're looking for reassurance from
Yes,
them?
and do you know what? My mum and dad were just like, just do what you need to do.
Aye.
Just believe in yourself. They said, you've got this, do you know what I mean? And I remember just getting there and being like, if I don't get through here, I don't think I'll do it again. But looking back now, I probably would have.
Yeah, you're picking the songs though, but what's the coaching like? Is it good?
It's brilliant. It's fantastic. You're playing with top-class musicians. They've vocal coaches and all that there that help you.
Did that help you? Did you look and go, wow, I didn't know how to sing that way, they're teaching me this?
Yes, diaphragm and all that.
Sing from your stomach, all that,
Yeah, but, the song that eventually gets shown for my Judge's House edition was Daniel Bedingfield, If You're Not the One.
It's a belter.
And looking back, you can hear my voice cracks and all that, and it's probably the worst I've sung out of all my auditions.
Yes.
But I think the raw emotion, and I showed the judges that I really, really wanted this, because after it I just ended up going, oh, my family have gave up so much for me to be here. And I'm like, put on the waterworks. They'll feel sorry for you. But no, it wasn't that. But I was genuinely just like, same again, one day moments I'm just like, I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't think I thought about it that much, and it wasn't until I'm in the moment and I finished singing, and I think the realisation just hit me like a train. It's like, you're here.
Yeah. So
And
is
I'm
there
just
any
like-
song that you thought, is that the song that you thought is just out of my reach, or I don't know how to sing it properly, or it's, you know, my vocal?
No, it's not even a high song or a hard song to sing. I think it was just in the moment.
Right.
If you listen to it back, my voice actually cracks, and every time I listen to it, I'm like, ooh, like that. But no, it wasn't like a hard song, but I think I just got to the point there, I was like, I really want to get through now.
Yeah.
Because I like the live shows, it's just there. Do you know what I mean? And if I went through all that and never get through, I'd be like, I would have been really gutted. Do you know what I mean?
How proud are you on the basis that you still have to have talent, but you know that the Scottish nation, you know, who are completely and utterly mental. We've got I think we've got kind of a triple mode, right? Which is, one, he's Scottish, so we're fucking voting for him, right?
yeah.
Two, we want to kind of really stick it up to
Right up them. Right up them. Shaft them as far as we can go.
Exactly. And the third one is, oh, by the way, he's got talent. And I've just thought of another one, which is, by the way, I'm skint, but I'm still going to vote for him.
Yeah. That is it. That is it in a nutshell, you know.
Yeah.
And all these big production English shows. The Scottish don't get a chance. Do you know what I mean? They always they always look after their own, and when it's so great when you see Scottish acts doing well on TV, because you just get right behind them. I've not got a pot to piss in, but here I'm going to take out a Provolone to vote for this wee guy 100 times. Do you know what I mean? Which is even to this day, I get it. Like walking down the street weekly, like, I voted for you.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mental. And you know, these people are genuine and sincere. They're working class people, just like myself, like my mum and dad and all that. Do you know what I mean? And they would give you their last pound to vote for you. And I genuinely do believe that they did that.
Yeah.
Because I have got talent and whatever, and I'm Scottish, but these people need to pick up that phone and they need to actually vote. Do you know what I mean? Which is mental. And even at my shows to this day, I always make a point in the middle of my show to say, if it wasn't for people that voted, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, and
Do you know what I mean?
And that humility I sense, I've been in the company of your mum and dad. I get that sense that that's your upbringing, that's your foundation.
Yeah.
That it's a sincere humility.
Yeah.
You realise what people do, and I think that comes across.
100%. Aye. Just you need to be relatable, but just be yourself. Do you know what I mean? Don't be something you're not.
Yeah, you're in the final.
Oh God.
You know Sam Bailey's
Squeaky bum time.
It really is. It really is squeaky bum time, isn't it? Did you think you could beat her?
Do you know what? I got to the final. I got to the live shows, and I was like, I'll take it week by week. And then by the time I actually got to the final, I never signed up for that show thinking I would even get shown. So me being here, a bit of talent, a bit of luck, and the good old Scottish behind you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was never about winning the show. You know, I never wanted to. It would have been nice.
Yes.
But I think at that age it would have been a lot, and it would probably been a catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just young, naive, no experience. Not even any of my family had any experience in the music industry, do you know what I mean? So I never had guidance of a family member that would have been like, this is a manager you go with, this is how this works. Do you know what I mean? It would have all been fresh and brand new, and my family's getting the experience in it, you know?
Yeah.
I never went on it to win it, you know? I got to the final, and when it was me and Sam standing, you could tell I wasn't like, and the winner is, and Dermot's doing this, and he turns and says, Sam, my face isn't sitting there like, oh, I'm devastated, do you know what I mean?
No.
Do you know, it was more like, do you know what, I'm actually really happy, and I was clapping for him, I was like, this is great, Sam.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, on you go.
Sorry. But it was more, when Dermot called, it was more Sam, when they said Sam, I was clapping, and I was genuinely happy. I wasn't like my face wasn't raging, and I wasn't practicing that in the mirror like, Sam, Nicky. It was just like, it was just natural, because I was very happy for her.
Could you see your family in the audience at that time?
No.
No.
They were away up in the heavens, I think, they get the nosebleed tickets at lastminute.com. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
They're trying to steal freebies, actually.
Were they devastated?
No, they weren't. They were very proud of me. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they said, "Look how far you've came. You've only been singing 2 years. You're 16 years of age. You had 85,000 boys audition, and you've came one out of them. And hopefully this has changed your life forever. And you can get a career out of this. Do you know what I mean? It was never about winning, you know.
Yeah. Who was your favourite that you enjoyed singing with? I mean, in the duets.
Eh,
Because I had written down the names of people who'd been on that show in Series 10.
Right.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong. I might have got this wrong,
there's
right?
loads.
But I've got them written down. Ellie Goulding,
Yeah.
Cher,
Yeah.
Robin Thicke, Katy Perry, The Wanted, Lady Gaga.
By the way, she's about that height.
Is that right?
She makes me look tall. I'll take 5'5" in a good day, but she's tiny.
Right. That's a
Tiny.
good insight. Chic, Nile Rodgers, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Gary Lightbody, Celine Dion, Robbie Williams, obviously Barlow got up and sang, Miley Cyrus,
Yeah.
JLS, Mary J. Blige, which is phenomenal, I
Yeah.
love her, Jessie J, One Direction, Rebecca Ferguson, James Arthur, Michael Bublé, Leona Lewis, Tom Odell, The Killers, and Elton John.
I met all them.
Honestly,
Mental.
Can I tell you something? When we brought you into the studio, right, I took you round the whole tour that we've got for this studio.
Tour Del Martin.
Which you've got to admit, there's world superstars on there.
Mental.
And I said to the staff before you came in, I said, if that list is right,
Aye.
if he hasn't got 25 frame photographs...
I don't.
What?
Nah.
Nothing?
I have pictures with him, but do you know that way when I was meeting, like, I've got a picture with Elton John, and I've got a funny story I'll tell you about him.
Right.
But when I met them all, and I met Celine Dion, and I'm the biggest Celine Dion fan in the world. That's what I grew up listening to when I was younger.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to be in the moment rather than say to them, "Can I get a picture?"
Yeah.
Selfishly for myself, looking back now to tell the grandkids, and do you know what I mean? To have a book or something with all these
Is there
pictures.
not a PR person in the
There
back?
there'll be pictures somewhere. There is something somewhere.
Yeah.
But selfishly for myself, I was just like, I'm just going to enjoy this and have a normal conversation. They'll run up to them and be like, "Oh, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And then small talk for a minute and then ask for a picture. It was just like, embrace this moment, you know. But that list is very, very true.
Right, Elton John.
So, we're Next Factor final. He's up with Barlow doing a duet. And I knew he was in the building and I knew he was doing the live show, the final. So I've just finished singing, take my stuff off, and door goes, and it's this older gentleman. I answer it. Sir Elton wants to meet you. I was like, "Ah." I thought Extra Factor or somebody was in the wind up. Aye, Elton John wants to meet me. No bother, big band. Like that. He's like, no, sir, he wants to meet you. I'm like, right, no bother. So I pull on my suit and all that again. Walk us round the back of the Wembley Arena into this room, and I remember the corridor because the night before it we were in there. It was a room where we kept all our clothes and all that, and we were eating Domino's pizzas and all that. The room was a tap after we left.
Yeah.
And I was like, took a right into the room, and I was like, opened the door, and I'm like, I was in this room last night with velvet walls, carpet, looked like a 10-star plush hotel. There he is, he's sitting on a couch like this, all black, Adidas original trackie on, with a Cartier watch that only looked like a disco ball to me. He's like that. He's just sitting there. "Oh, Nicholas, come on in, come." I'm like that. No way. That's Elton John. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm like, no way. And by the way, there was no cameras, nothing. It was just him and his team. And he just, like a conversation, he's like, "Your talent is absolutely phenomenal." He's like, "You're one of the best younger, like for your age, you're one of the best I've ever heard. And I've heard a lot of talent and whatever." And I asked him for a picture. Can I say no to him?
You've
I
got
was
it.
like, "Can I have a picture?" And it was so nice. It was just so weird just seeing him in an Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
But this watch was like that, catch my eye. Like,
Down to earth?
oh, salt to the earth.
Yes.
It's like, it's so weird because, like, the people that you meet, like your Celine Dion, like your Taylor Swift, like your Elton John, like your Michael Bublé's, who are, in my eyes, like global superstars.
Yes.
And you've got them away up here, but when you talk to them, you just feel like we're just having a conversation like this.
Yeah.
And they always say you're doing so well on the show because they know that we're going to meet them after they sing, so they can pretend they know who you are, but you're doing so well on the show. Last week you sung this song and you were so good. You nailed it. You should be believing in yourself.
Wow.
And these superstars are, in my eyes, are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Wow, that's a great
Crazy.
insight into it, yeah. And
You're scared to talk to them, so you're like, "Oh, they're superstars," but then they're just like
So apart from Elton, who would you say are your top three that you really like?
Celine Dion for sure. Michael Bublé, I remember we went into his trailer, he had a big trailer thing at the back. We just went in, we're all just chatting to him, so I want a tea or coffee.
Right.
Just to help myself. At the time, One Direction as well, because I grew up obviously watching the lads on the show, and then they blew up. And my wee sister loved them at the time, so I get pictures with them, FaceTime my wee sister. And the last one is probably Robbie Williams, because my first ever karaoke song was, I was about 6 and I was in Greece, and I was on a bar stool, I had a pool cue in this hand and a microphone in the other hand, and there's a picture of this, by the way. I'll try and get it. I've got a pair of my Ma's high heels on, and I'm singing Robbie Williams' Angels.
Brilliant.
And the reason for the high heels is because I couldn't reach the pool table when I was younger. Well, that's what my mum told me. I don't know if that's true or not. If you get a size 7 shoe, I'll show you what it was like. And I got to meet him at an event one time during the show. I got his number and all that and whatever, and we stayed in contact. And then he played the Hydro a couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago. And I just dropped my message and he got my tickets. I went and spoke to him and met him with my mum and all that. And it was brand new. And do you know that way, like, same again, seeing him and like he was one of my idols growing up, do you know what I mean? To then being in the presence of him and just meeting him and him again saying, I know what you're going through and whatever, and just believe in yourself. And now watching his documentary that just came out a few months ago, and I can relate to it a wee bit with the whole audition thing and being young and you're going for just a normal scheme boy to then just thrown into this chaos, you know. With something common almost, you know.
Yeah, it's great to get an insight into the people that you've met, which is fantastic. You're still having to, you're in a competition.
Yeah.
You've mentioned the reaction when you've lost it to Sam Bailey. But there must be at this point, after it, what happens next? Had they prepped you for that? Did you know what was going down?
No idea.
No.
We done the final, came runner-up, and then the show finished. That night, they were staying at the Hilton Hotel across the road from the Wembley Arena. Went to an after party after it. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to drink at the time. I went to bed early, ordered a pizza, went to bed, woke up the next day, went down to the hotel to check out. By the way, they did security sleeping outside their rooms and all, which I thought was bizarre.
Right.
Went down the next day after the final and I says, what's happening now? And they're like, have you booked your flights home?
And that's it?
That's it.
Jeez, that's like cold turkey.
Aye, no joke. I was like, oh, do you know? No. And by the way, see, for the live shows ran for 12 weeks. And I get paid when I was on the show, but it was like, I was getting paid like, they gave me an allowance actually, I wasn't even getting paid. How much do you think allowance I was allowed a week?
1,200.
40 quid.
You're joking me.
To live. But at the time I think people that were on the show that had mortgages and all that, they helped with that.
Yeah.
By paying a percentage of their mortgage. But with me,
I wish you'd bought a house then.
I know. I never at the time had any bills because obviously my mum and dad, so they gave me £40 to go and get deodorant, toothpaste and all that. You can't even buy a pizza. I'm pizza daft. Can't buy a pizza for even 40 quid these days. So I never get paid when I was actually on the show. In the 12 weeks of live shows, my mum and dad had to fly down from Glasgow to London every Friday to Sunday. That's when the live shows was. So my mum, dad, my older brother, my younger sister, my grandpapa, 7 of them had to fly down from Glasgow to London every week for 12 weeks straight, flights and hotels, and X Factor never helped them with any of that, and they get into some financial debt. Do you know what I mean? 30k plus.
Wow.
Because they had to pay for flights and hotels for 12 weeks straight and feed themselves and whatever, do you know what I mean? And signing up for the show, we never knew that, do you know what I mean?
Did you know that you were going to get an album deal at the end of it?
No, you're not guaranteed anything, you know. And obviously my mum and dad gave up a lot to be there, to support me week in, week out. They'd be jumping on flights at 2:00 in the morning on a Friday morning, but they would be on Clyde One and all these radio stations doing interviews because they all started to catch on that they were doing every week. So we'd be jumping on flights and doing interviews and all that on the Friday, do all the live show, see me on the Sunday night, and then jump my flight the Monday morning back up to their work for Monday to Friday, do you know what I mean? So they sacrificed a lot for me to be there. Do you know what I mean? It was mental.
Were you able in any financial position to recompense them?
Yes, so as soon as I come off the show, literally like, I don't know, a month and a half later I paid them all back and helped them out.
Brilliant.
So my first paychecks went to my mum and dad, but they sacrificed a lot, do you know what I mean, for me to be there, and I never knew that I knew they were paying to be there in the flights and all that, but I never knew how crazy it was, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously all my brothers and sisters wanted to come down as well.
So what about the call back then to say, listen, we're thinking about an album with you? Who calls you for that?
So I was going to, so the final was on the Sunday, I was meant to fly home the Monday, and I got a phone call from a guy who worked on the show, who worked with RCA Records, so basically it's an umbrella of Sony, and he says, we want to have a meeting with you, where are you? He says, I'm about to jump a flight tomorrow, like the night actually. He says, no, if you can cancel it, we need to have a meeting with you on Wednesday.
Right.
So then I stayed until the Wednesday went in, and they says, we want to do like an album deal with you. I said, cool, fine,
Brilliant.
aye.
Does that album deal change your life?
No, because at the time I wanted to do like an original album, and they wanted to do a cover album, which always worked. Do you know what I mean? I think it went in the top 20, and then one of the singles was in the top 6. It went #1 in Scotland, #1 in Ireland. But they were very pushy, and then it just came at a point after the album came out that we weren't on the same page, do you know what I mean? I just decided to cut ties with them, do you know what I mean? Because they were very controlling on what I do. This is who you go in and write with. This is what you're writing about. Do you know what I mean? Always tell me what to do rather than give me the freelance, doing what I want, you know?
Did you not wish that you just followed their pathway, because it could have set you up for life?
I kind of do, but at the same time, I don't have any regrets with it, to be honest, because it was very controlling, and do you know what I mean? I want to put out stuff that I'm proud of, just put out stuff for the sake of just putting out, you know.
So you're writing songs?
Yes, I am going to be releasing stuff this year. Now that I'm married 4 years now, my wife's like, when you're going to write songs for me? I says, no, I have something to write about. Just don't break my heart or I'll batter you.
Yes. and it's a catchy title for the song. I think a lot of...
Aye. Don't cheat me or I'll batter you by Nicholas McDonald.
The 12-inch version. No, it'll be great to hear that, because I think, as you say, you've got to have life experiences to be able to write about them as well. And I want to talk to you about just, before we finish this one-to-one, I want to talk to you about the way ahead. You've got a few good stories, though. Black Sabbath, I mean, if I think Nicholas McDonald, I don't think Black Sabbath. I mean,
really?
What is that story about?
So I was in the live shows were done in London, we're in the studios, and I'm in Sharon Osbourne's dressing room. I just used to go in there and sit and get teas and coffees and all that. And I'm just sitting, Kelly and Jack walk in, our 2 children, and I used to love Jack Osbourne, Adrenaline Junkie, when he came off the drugs and he was jumping out planes and all that with MTV. He was a nutcase. I'm like, I love him. So when I met him and Kelly, I was like, wow. And then the door goes, and big Aussie boy comes in, leather jackets and all that on here and all that. Oh, how you doing, man? You're doing so good in the show and that. I was like, thank you so much, pleasure meeting you and all that. And his 2 mates, like, oh man, you're doing too great in the show. Nice to meet you. I'm just like, they introduced herself, but do it just went right out of my head. I'm like, this is well cool. I'm just sitting with the oddball. This is brilliant. And so I'm just sitting having a conversation for about half an hour. The door goes. Me, Louis Walsh pops his head in. I'm like, what is it? Come here, Nicholas, come here. I thought I'd done something wrong. What is it? So I go out to the hallway and the door shuts. I go, what is it? He's like, do you know that? Do you know who's in there? I go, Sharon, Ozzy's mates, the makeup artist and all that, Jack and whatever, Kelly. He's like, do you know the 2 gentlemen with Ozzy? Go, no, he's like, that's Black Sabbath. I go, who? He's like, phone your dad. Phone my dad. Aye, I'm just sitting around the new way. Listen, mate, Black Sabbath, Ozzy's band. But I was like, no way. Did you get a picture? No, I went, aye, I'll get one. Don't worry about that. He's like, no way, what you doing? I went, Dad, I genuinely didn't even know it was them. I said, I just thought it was Ozzy's mates. He's like, no, you're not right to heat. I went, I know. When I tell people that, like, you're joking. Nicholas McDonald and Black Sabbath just don't really... I don't come to mind when you think of...
No, definitely not. And the other thing about him is, Ozzy sings totally different style from you, so I can't see a duet coming out of that.
No, any time soon.
So, do you stay in touch with anybody from the show?
I've not spoke to them for a while. I've got Sharon's email and phone number and all that, and when you're out, people say, oh, have you got their number? Go and give them my phone, But no, I've not heard from Sharon for a while. It's just weird, to have their number, you just don't phone them up. What are you up to? How's the LA? Aye, it's still raining in Scotland. Nothing's changed here.
Is there any sense of a letdown when, you know, the album's done and then we're all thinking there's going to be a second album, and then there's
Radio silence.
There's radio silence, and also, in a sense, you have to deal with the fact that you've had comparative success, and then
it goes quiet.
You go on your merry way. How do you deal with that?
It's weird because when you're on the show, they build you up. You're singing in front of 12, 15 million people week in, week out. You're in every newspaper. Everybody's talking. It's kind of like you're any reality TV nowadays. Do you know what I mean? They build you up, and then they literally just drop you like that. And then that's it.
Yeah.
You're left to figure it out. And as I said earlier, I had no family in the music industry. I had no idea what I was doing. And it took me a good 4 or 5 years to really figure out what I want to do and how to navigate it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm running a business when I was 16, which is meant, but a very big business. Do you know what I mean? I never knew about taxes and tax returns and all this, and lawyers and agents. It was mental. So it is hard, but it's hard to control in a sense of I never went on that show with expectations, so everything that I've got until this day I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
I never put myself on a pedestal being like, I want to only do this gigs, I only want to get paid this much, I only want to do this, I only want to do that. I'm on there to just try it out. Do you know what I mean? I never had any expectations, so I wasn't really disappointed when things start to go quiet. Do you know what I mean? Because I've watched the show before, and I'm no naive to know that that's what happens. Do you know what I mean? It's just about having the right managers and the right agents to keep you going, to keep you there. Do you know what I mean? Which I never got, unfortunately. You
had a chat with Elton John, and people would undoubtedly have passed advice on to you. What's the best bit of advice you got?
Just believe in yourself. Do you know what I mean? And kind of like any industry, just watch. There's bad people out there that are out to think they don't have your best interest at heart. Do you know what I mean? Which is hard to find nowadays. You know. Just really solid people like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, like sort of thing, you know. Which is sad, but after me being in it, well, this has been my coming up in 10 years, nearly 11 years of me being in this industry, I've figured out and I've met a lot of really nice people, you know, a lot of not so good people, but there's more good people than there is bad people, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that it's the exact same in football.
Yeah.
If it's any consolation to you. There's a prick just around the corner. You just got to watch and see how they come.
Yeah.
Now, how did you meet your wife? Because, and I have to tell you, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to be two-faced with you because you and I know each other. So, Ted's my favourite movie.
Right.
So the staff, we're in there and we're going, I said, listen,
what's her name?
I want to know how you met her, right? But I said, you'll never guess her name. And our producer, I said, it was straight out of Mark Wahlberg and Ted, and they're talking about the girl's name, and it's like Tammy Lynn, you know, Sharon, and we're going through all the names. And our producer, she turned around and she went, Brandy, and I could not believe she had pulled it out of the hat. But Brandy,
it's not a very common name either.
It's not. And by the way, not in Lanarkshire. If somebody said to me, my name's Brandy Summer, I'd think you're having a laugh, right?
You're no pay here, pal.
Exactly. How did you meet her?
So I was on a cruise ship singing for a while, and she was on a girls' holiday, and I was finishing my set. It was the last night of the cruise. I was heading towards actually the crew bar to get a pint, and she was walking towards me a wee bit drunk, and she's like, "Oh, where's like the after party? Where do you go at night?" I went, "Oh, there's a nightclub on the cruise and all that," and then we just started talking.
Yeah.
For hours and hours and hours, and then we went back and forth. So I had 2 months left on the cruise. She would pick me up every Monday and Thursday from the cruise. We'd go on dates and whatever. And then about 2 months after dating, we pulled up to an Applebee's, which is like a chain restaurant, and got to a car park. And I just thought it was just a normal date. We'll go for lunch. She'll drop me back off on the cruise, and it'll all be fine and dandy. And she turns around and goes to me, "By the way, just so you know, you're going to meet my whole family in this restaurant." I pull up to this restaurant, walk in, it's like the Last Supper. There's about 40 of them there. They're all here to meet me. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So I met everybody. Everybody was brand new. Still kept dating. And a few weeks before my contract ended, I says, "Do you fancy coming to Scotland to visit?"
Right.
I phoned my mum. But before I went on the cruise, my mum says to me, as I laugh, "You'll come back with a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed American." Here I am a few months later, blonde-haired, blue-eyed American. I phoned my mum. I've met this girl, she's all right to come. Aye, that's fine. Only supposed to come for 3 weeks. She stayed for 3 months.
Is that right?
Aye, she loved Scotland. We did long distance for 2 years, which was absolutely brutal. Wouldn't put that on my own worst enemy, to be honest. It was horrible. Because I bought a house, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Outright with the money we spent. But I wouldn't change it for the world. And then we get married in the 5th of September.
Yeah.
2018.
Saw the pictures of the wedding. Did you get pelters from your mates for your clobber you were wearing?
No, because I tell them what I said, you all need to put on kilts, do you know what I mean? I even had her stepdad in a kilt and all that.
Is that right?
Aye.
The Americans love all that though, don't they?
Aye, they love it, aye.
Yeah.
They're like, do you wear underwear? I was like, no, you just let it dangle. Let it all hang out, brother. I said, as soon as you get a gust of wind, you'll be happy for it.
And Shatler was the...
Aye, yes. And the white, it was so weird, because I've never been there, like all the years I've grew up here. And the wife's like, I love it. The building sits like that. I never noticed that. But I would get married in Shatler Road. She loved it. I was like, ah, great. And it's stunning inside.
And have you been teaching her some of the classic Scottish phrases?
Well.
Sluggy or ginger.
Aye. My favourite word nowadays is bobag. I don't know why, but it is. But when we first met, I could have said to her, here, I'm going to chop you up and fire you a bag and launch you in the Clyde. And she'd be like, yeah. Yeah, like that. Nowadays, I can't even mutter under my breath. She knows everything now, aye. Which is really hard. Because back in the day, she used to be, what does that mean? Now she knows all the lingo, all the patter. It's brilliant. But took a while to get there, but we're there eventually.
Do you still love going over there? Her family, everything, is it all great?
Yes, yeah. We just spent 5 weeks there over Christmas and New Year. It was brilliant. But it's so hard when I go there. I need to slow down a wee bit with the talking, especially with her dad. Like, he's tone deaf, this guy.
Yeah.
He looks at me and he goes, I don't know what he's saying, like that. So and then when I start drinking, I know I'm starting auction like that, talking rapid. So I need to like slow down when I talk. But most people understand me, and it's brilliant. The amount of free drink you get is great. You're sitting at a bar and I'll be talking to Brandy. The people will just be sitting there selling they'll be like that. They'll hear an accent and then they'll hear her accent. They'll be like,
how are they two together?
And then you come up with the whole story, the cruise and all that. No, do you want a drink? Aye, pal. Where are you fed? Before you know it, you're just going to drink what for you. It's brilliant. The Scottish can drink. Aye, get me a vodka cola. I'll show you. Like that. Do you know what I mean? It's great.
Couple of points before you finish. Was it great that you had all your family? You mentioned your granny and your granddad.
Yeah.
That must have been fantastic. Just to have that moment
with them. Yeah. It was mental. Lifetime memories that will last a lifetime. And recently, both grandparents have passed away in the last 2 years. I actually buried my gran last Wednesday, 87. But I'm the golden grandchild when you go in their house because I've got pictures of the wedding and I've actually signed a picture when I was on the X Factor for them that they've got framed up, and they've got other grandkids and great grandkids. But no, memories that will last a lifetime. And actually before we buried my gran, we're looking through pictures and she's got cutouts, like the old school cutouts of the newspaper when I was first on the show and all that, pictures like in the booklets of like shows that I'd done before the X Factor and all that. And she kept all it, so it's now nice to have all that. And she used to tell me, when you're on that show, that was brilliant. I loved it. And they got down to actually see the live shows most weekends, which was great and all.
Yeah. Did she have a favourite song?
1,000 Years, aye. And when she was actually, basically, I don't want to be morbid, but when she was ill on her deathbed, my mum played it and she was just lying there and the lights were on but nobody was in, but she knew that was me, and it kind of like set the tone, do you know what I mean? Everybody was greeting, you know, and I was in Florida at the time. Yeah. And it wasn't my wee sister and all that, we just played her 1,000 Years, and she was like shaking her head and all that, do you know what I mean? So, and she was witty and funny and quick on her feet for 87, but just to know that she loved that song is very special. Now I need to go and sing that week in and week out, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it must be emotional, but listen, it just shows you how proud they were of you and what you achieved. Now, you're 27. This is me. I'm just going to cane you here.
Right, okay.
Probably the same as your mum and dad.
Right.
But you're 27. You're a far better singer now.
Yeah.
And you should be embarking on another career.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know it's easy to get into a comfort zone of
sure.
You're in Scotland. But I look and I think to myself, you should go and do Nashville. You should go and do something to try and...
Fit.
No, try and get... I mean, yeah, it's like anything. And when I meet people from Scotland or Scottish people in any game, you always want them to do well.
I know.
You know, so I would think to myself, surely to God, you can get back on that fame wheel and with a voice like yours, have another go.
The wife always said she wanted me to do American Idol. So I'm planning on doing that. I don't know when, because I think you need to be, I think the oldest you can audition is 30. But I know people from the UK singers that have done it. Only because I've watched that show as well. No growing up, but since I've met my wife, and it seems like it's mental. And the judges all seem brand new.
Yeah.
Now that I'm married to an American, I have a story. Married to an American, I've done a show before. We stay in Scotland, but eventually we'll make it to America one day and whatever. And I just think I'd love to do that. So nothing's in the pipeline, but I'd love to do that. And as you said, like Nashville or something like that, or my wife said like New York. And I think eventually we will take the leap for sure. Do you know what I mean? I've not married an American and can't be staying in Scotland all my days. Do you know what I mean? When I've get that to my disposal.
Well, I was going to say to you, because the other thing about it, and again, I'm not letting up on this because I really want you to go and do it, is, you know, as Apollo Creed passed away not that long ago, his one line to Rocky was, "There is no tomorrow."
I know.
Do it, you know,
I know.
because you've got that talent, you know.
I know. And Nashville is the place to be, you know.
I think you'd be great at it.
I would love it. I need to go there on holiday first.
Yeah. Listen, it's been an absolute joy. I'm not going to let you go away without, you know, the quick fire part of it,
right,
to get some answers out. Your top 5 songs of all time.
Oh, so the first one would have to be Robbie Williams' Angels.
Okay.
My Heart Will Go On, Celine Dion. I love Uptown Funk. I feel like that's a classic song. What's another one? Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. And Gimme Gimme by Mamma Mia.
Right. Gimme. What, you mean ABBA?
Aye! Aye, same thing.
God, I feel old. Gimme by Mamma Mia. Right. So there's
a good party song, isn't it?
It's a good song. Is that in your act? Do you do it? No. That's 5 good ones. I have to say to you, by the way,
a very good mixture, eh?
It is, but you're a pure cheese fest. That's
great.
5, something to get them greeting, something to get them partying, which is fantastic.
It's a variety.
It's a variety. I love the fact that, you know, in any company you're always brilliant, and I think you know, your personality's brilliant, your talent's there. So I'm giving you the task. You're going on a road trip across America. Brandy's in the car behind, okay? You've got 3 people to pick. Oh. And you're on a road trip and you want them in the car, and it would be amazing because they're
bantering.
They're superstars, they're bantering. They could come from the film world, it could be the entertainment, it could be a sports person. Just 3 people you think, I'm driving, we could play songs, we could have a right good laugh, we could cane each other, and there wouldn't be a fight.
Right, so I think the first one has to be Lee Evans. He's not my favourite comedian, but the way he does his comedian stuff is different from, like, he's more theatrical and he's just mental. Yeah. I just imagine having a road trip just getting absolute pelters. So him, am I allowed 2 more?
2 more.
Didn't need to be male or female, does it no matter?
No, it's sure.
Be whoever.
It's
Mark Wahlberg, for sure, just because my wife can just see the back of his head and be jealous. Well, I'm in the motorroom because she won't get to see him because she fancies him.
You know, he would look behind at the car and go, "Hi, Brandy."
Hi, Brandy Lynn. And who else? Who's good at giving out absolute pelters?
I mean, it could be somebody talented. I mean,
I know, but how long's this road trip?
It's across the west coast of America. You're going from Portland down to San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, and then you know, Las Vegas.
Do you know who'd be quite funny to throw in there just to wind them up? Because I watched his show recently, and I think he's such a wind-up merchant. He's very easy to wind up. Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
I think me, Gordon Ramsay, Lee Evans,
yes,
and Mark Wahlberg on a car.
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
I can see that working for the first couple of miles, and then eventually, can you show me your driver's license? Has he been taking drugs? Why
Is he drink?
Why did he start a fight with him? So
Why has he got a gun?
exactly, and I can just see the Hangover 3 all over again. And the last point, you're a great singer. Who would you? 3 people.
Duet.
A duet. Who would you love to do a duet with?
Bruno Mars would probably be one of them. Donny Hathaway. And Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston. Good show. Brilliant. I'm amazed.
So hard though.
It is tough.
It's so hard.
I thought you were going to say Celine, but that's absolutely...
I would. I normally would, but I
It's
don't
your
know.
choice.
I don't know. I'd switch it up.
I never get tired of being in your company. You're an absolute
Appreciate
gem of a boy. I am going to phone your mum and dad, and I'm going to say...
But I can report.
No, I'm just going to say, I've nipped his brain. Any chance you could, get him back on there and get him out of
Get
Scotland.
him to Nashville.
I want the celebrity part so that I can phone him and say, is there any chance of a cutlet for your Broadway show?
Here, mate, can we stay at your bit? We're just going about flights, free hotel.
Exactly. Nicholas McDonald, it's been a
Pleasure
pleasure.
as always. Thank
Top
you
man.
very much.
Brilliant.